Hello everyone, this is Amir Pudathaki. Today I am just bringing you these terminologies: ontology, epistemology, axiology, and methodology. That is purely sometimes mind disturbing. But these terminologies are widely used across academia and during our research, whether it's in masters or in the PhD. We are always in the periphery of these terminologies. So, based on my own PhD research and my research title, and with guidance from my advisors, I had to really struggle to understand these terminologies and how it really makes sense in practicality. So it was difficult for me to grasp all together at a time, but over the period of time during my research, I made it practical application in my research. So based on my practical experiences, I have brought this to you so that it may be helpful as you navigate through these terminologies for your research. So I had conducted research on metallic improved cooking stoves and its contribution in energy security in Nepal. And let's just see how all of these terminologies fits into the philosophical framework of my research. So obviously let's start with ontology. And what is ontology? Ontology, it's all about nature of reality. And what is the nature of the reality I am studying? So here there are two perspectives in the reality. First perspective is realist ontology. If you see here, realist ontology. From a realist ontology, energy insecurity and its impact, such as fuel scarcity, indoor air pollution, and related health problems, exist independently of people's perception and can be measured objectively, for example, by quantifying fuel consumption and measure smoke emission. In other way, from a realist ontology perspectives, it's all about data, facts and figures, measurable things that we bring through quantitative approaches or processes. All these comes under realist ontology. Likewise, there is second perspective, and that second perspective is constructivist perspective. And what is this constructivist perspective? It's all about exploring socially constructed views, opinions, or ideas, or lived experiences. Pardon me, rather than ideas, it's all about ideas that came through their lived experiences. And those lived experiences can vary from one place to another place, because that can be defined through their cultural context and their lived experiences that they are in. Therefore, for example, sufficient energy, clean energy, and security, this terminology may differ based on their cultural context and based on their lived experiences. Thus, my study considers both the tangible, measurable aspects, which is from the realist ontology perspective, of energy insecurity, and the subjective realities shaped by social and cultural factors. So in my research, I stand to explore tangible, measurable aspects of energy insecurity and the subjective realities underpinned in it through social constructs or cultural factors. Likewise, the second terminology is epistemology. And what is epistemology? It's a process. How do we know what we know? It's a nature of knowledge. So, key question that I ask myself: how can I gain valid knowledge about this reality? How can I gain valid knowledge about this reality? We talked about this reality. We talked about a realist ontology and the constructivist perspective. Now going to the second point, it's epistemology, and here we talk about how can I gain valid knowledge about the reality that we just talked about. So here my epistemological stance is pragmatic and mixed method. I believe that both objective measurements and subjective understanding are essential to fully grasp the role of metallic improved cooking stuffs in enhancing energy security. From a positive perspective, now there are two perspectives. First one is positive perspective. From this positive perspective, I collect quantitative data to objectively measure changes brought about by metallic improved cooking stuffs, such as reduction in household firewood consumption that can be measured, right? Likewise, improvement in the stove efficiency. Well, let's say my research found that it was efficient by 45% compared to other traditional stoves. And the third one, measurable decrease in indoor air pollution. And we can measure by what percentage or how much smoke is reduced by the adoption of metallic improved cooking stoves in the households. So these are from the positivist perspective. Now, in terms of knowing the reality, this first one alone is not sufficient. Therefore, we have second one here, which is interpretivist perspective. From an interpretivist perspective, I also explore qualitative dimensions of knowledge by engaging with people's experiences and perceptions. This helps me understand how communities interpret and value the changes, such as how women feel about reduced time spent on firewood collection or improvements in their family's health. By combining these approaches, I can develop a holistic understanding of how metallic improved cooking stuffs affect both the physical realities and the lived experiences of rural households. That's what it comes all in the epistemology. And the third one is axiology. Axiology is all about values or ethics. So key question that I ask myself here is, what values and ethics guide my research? Definitely my research is value driven because it directly involves people's well-being, social equity, and the environmental sustainability. I am deeply aware that my own values and ethical stance influence every stage of the study. I prioritize equity, ensuring that the voices of marginalized groups, especially women, are central to the research. I uphold ethical standards, including, not limited to, gaining informed consent from participants, protecting participants' privacy and dignity, especially when discussing sensitive issues like gender roles and decision-making in households, being transparent about my research process and intentions. I value sustainability, aiming for long-term environmental and social benefits rather than short-term technological fixes. This axiology ensures that my research not only generates knowledge but also contributes positively to the communities and ecosystems involved. no harm principle. In this section, we really have to focus or highlight in this last sentence. When we conduct any type of research, it should not harm, rather generate knowledge. While generating knowledge, it positively contributes to the community and the ecosystem that we are involved in. Now the fourth term is methodology. It's all about research strategy, and the question that I ask myself here is, how will I conduct this research to align with my philosophical stance? Now, my methodology is designed to reflect my ontology, epistemology, and axiology. I use a mixed method approach, integrating both quantitative and qualitative tools. Qualitative components or positivist approach includes, I gathered my numerical data to objectively measure the impacts of metallic improved cooking stoves. That included survey, that included measurement of the stove's efficiency and indoor air quality, and statistical analysis to evaluate reductions in time and money spent on fuel wood collection. Likewise, this included by what percentage or by what tons of carbon emissions were reduced by the adoption of metallic improved cooking stoves in the households. All of those data, figures, facts, all they come under this. And the qualitative component or interpretive-based approach included qualitative part of my research that was more on why and how part. Ideally how part, all about exploring their lived experiences. What do they mean? What do they understand? How how the adoption of metallic improved cooking stoves is helping them to save time, and how those saved times are utilized in other areas for their economic activities or the improvement of their livelihoods. All of those that may include tools like focused group discussion, in-depth interviews, observation, and individual interviews with users. Now, by combining these two strands, my methodology provides a comprehensive picture of both the measurable impacts and the lived realities of metallic improved cooking stove adoptions. That's how we make practical sense of those terminologies or philosophical framework of ontology, epistemology, axiology, and methodology. This is the summary how we make its practical application, whether in my research topic or in your research topic. Hope this was helpful for you. If you just get confused, you can just hover around step and read these lines. That is pretty much very simple and understandable and easier to understand and make sense in your own context. Thank you so much for listening. Hope that was helpful.